Close to half of Quebec toddlers are spending at least an hour per day looking at screens. Research suggests screen time, particularly for children under 2, is highly damaging to development, and the numbers have experts concerned. Joining me now is Dr. Victoria Talwar, who holds the Canada Research Chair in the Department of Educational and Counseling Psychology at McGill University. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So first of all, what's your reaction to this survey? 43% of 2.5-year-olds on screens for an hour a day and 65% spending an hour a day on screens on the weekends. What's your reaction?
Well, I was a bit surprised. We have known now in the last, since the pandemic, more and more people are talking about the ills that have to do with screen time and how it can affect all of us negatively. But, and that's come out more and more, both in the research, but also out in the media. So I think we're becoming more and more aware that we need to be mindful of how much we use screens and how we use them. But it shows that there's still a lot of work to do in terms of getting that message across, but also in terms of how we implement it in our lives and how we as parents think through how we use screens and how we let our children interact with screens.
What is the main concern about screens? How is it so damaging to development?
It's really, for young children, it's particularly bad because young children are going through a lot of brain development in those first couple of years of life. And we're sort of hardwired to learn through social interactions with others. And we need real world, children need to play with toys. They need to interact with another human being, with a parent, with other adults in their lives. And it's through that children learn lots of things in terms of their own cognitive development, through their social emotional development, learning language. So it's really, really important to have sort of interaction with the world around them. And screen time really displaces a lot of that learning. So it can really have potentially negative effects. At the very least, it's taking them away from those times when they are learning, and it may have further detrimental effects in terms of emotion regulation. There's still research being done on this, and there's still more that will come out for us to understand the longer term impacts. But certainly now, all research points to really having very limited screen time or no screen time for children 2 and under.
I want to ask you if there's a difference between the types of screens that kids are watching on. Phones, tablets on one side, maybe TV movie night with the family on the other. Is there a better kind of screen time, or is it all sort of should be thought of in the same sort of basket?
So the key point to what you said was with the family. So there's a lot of difference between the child just passively using the screen, whatever screen that may be, a tablet, a phone, or the television, and interacting with an adult next to them, and the adult sort of co-viewing and there being interaction together. It is, if you're going to have screen time, that's the type of screen time that is good for children, where there is you're co-viewing with the child, you're interacting, the whole family's together and interacting. That's more positive than just this passive screen time where the children sort of just stuck in front of the screen. That doesn't have any real benefit for young children at all.
What is an appropriate amount of screen time? I know you said below 2, 0, but when can you start to introduce it? Anybody who's got young children will tell you that it's somewhat impossible to keep the children away from either the TV or the screen now and then. So for parents who are struggling with this and don't necessarily know when it's okay to start introducing it, what would you say to them?
So the first thing I would say to parents is, if your child's having more screen time than what the experts recommend, don't have guilt. In terms of guidelines, what I would say is, yes, the best is no screen time before 2. If they are going to have screen time, keeping it really limited and potentially have co-viewing time together. And I always caveat that with all these limits, that does not include time where, for instance, you're having a Zoom with the grandparents, because that is social interaction and that's staying connected. So You know, if your 1-year-old is saying hello to grandma on Zoom, that's not a bad thing.
Okay, that's a very good point and a good clarification. Unfortunately, we have to leave it there. Dr. Victoria Tower, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.